Boy, it's been a whole month of talks about change, hasn't it? Talks about choice, talks about freedom. This was our month. I just love it, you know. Freedom is a choice was the theme for the month, and we've just been talking about choice and change and freedom and qualities of God all month long. Wow, big talks, big topics, you know, because choice really is our life, you know. It's everything that we are is the choices that we make. And so today's talk, Change, Choice, and Principles, it comes from a Stephen Covey quote. And what he said was this: there are 3 constants in life: change, choice, and principles. 3 constants. So let's talk about those 3 constants in life. The first one we want to address is change. You know, they just sang my talk, so there you go. Let's just go have coffee. Change, I mean, it's beautiful. That song was beautiful. It's all about change. Everything changes in the manifest world. Nothing stays the same. Everything at the level of the effect changes all the time. Things, stuff, the outpicturing, the matter, physical things come and go all the time, and we're reminded of this transitory nature of the physical world by everything around us. You know, the seasons change, it reminds us of that. We look at the tides, it reminds us of that. We look at the phases of the moon, the aging process, birth, growth, and decline, and decay, and death. Everything in the physical world changes all the time, reminding us that the peaceful way of life, the way to be at harmony at all life, is to be non-attached. Because it's going to change anyway, whether or not we want it to. It's going to change anyway. How many things, I remember one of our dear practitioners used to say, things changed in my life, but everything that I let go of had claw marks in it. Because we have that tendency, right, to kind of hang on. We get things the way we like them, and then we want them to stay that way. We suffer to the degree we want things to stay the same. We're comfortable with the known, with the way things are. And so we resist change. But someone said, when we change what we think, the things we see change. I think it was Wayne Dyer. I think I'm paraphrasing him. I don't know. But when we change what we think, the things that we see change. Stuff changes in the outer, in the physical, when we change our mind about them. This is the tagline, right, for religious science. Change your thinking, change your life, right? Change your thinking, change your life. The key to this whole philosophy then is change, right? And I love that cartoon. Did you ever see that cartoon? Everybody's standing around and the person at the podium says, "Who wants change?" And everybody raises their hand. And then he says, "Who wants to change?" And everybody pulls their hand back. Because that's what happens. We want change, yeah, but we don't want to change. But the key to the whole philosophy is change. When we change what we think, there's music in the air. When we change what we think, we can actually change the structure of our brain. And there's incredible experiments going on. We create new neural pathways. We make connections in our brain where none existed. And we also break down previously held neural connections that were part of old thinking. You know, I'm doing a book study starting this week. You Are the Placebo. It was Dr. Joe Dispenza. And frankly, the discussion is fascinating. You know, I mean, it's mind-blowing how the advances in this quantum thinking, studies have proven now that not only placebos are not mind over matter, but mind transforming matter. Mind actually transforming matter. So thoughts alone, in all of these case studies, thoughts alone are stimulating the production of enzymes, opening the DNA structure, changing the formation of the chromosomes, starting some up, shutting some down, actually physiologically changing the structure of our DNA by thought alone. One study had 2 groups of people who were experiencing IBS, like irritable bowel syndrome, right? Half of them, they gave medicine, actual real medicine, right, created in a lab, that was really good at getting rid of the symptoms of IBS, okay? The other group, they gave placebos to, sugar pills. but they told them they were placebos. So this was not even a blind study. Half the people got the medicine, half the people got the sugar pill. And what they told the people with the sugar pill was, it works just as well as the medicine. And the result was, it worked just as well as the medicine. Over 80% of the control group that got the medicine got relief from their symptoms. Over 80% of the people who got the sugar pills got relief from their symptoms. It didn't make a difference. So this is not mind over matter, this is mind adjusting matter. Transforming matter, changing matter. This is an amazing truth to know, that your mind is that powerful. You know, and these are things that Dr. Ernest Holmes knew way back then, before there was proof for it. It was just intuitively known. This is stuff that the saints and the sages and the mystics and the prophets knew all along, was that there's one life, there's one energy, we're all in it. We're all in it. We're all interconnected. And it all works because we are all interconnected with one source. Mind creates. That's what it does. Mind creates. Mind changes matter because mind is matter. There's no difference. Remember Phineas Parkhurst Quimby? Grandfather of New Thought, the gentleman who created this whole entire line of thinking. He said, mind is matter in solution. Matter is mind in form. It is all one thing. It's not two things. We don't have spirit and substance, we have mind. Mind is matter in solution, matter is mind in form. And mind is forever creating new thoughts, new forms, and dissolving away the old. So the constant here is change. The constant will always be change. It can happen to you, written by Ernest Holmes. He said this. He said, your thought is the pattern or the mold through which the power greater than you are flows into form and manifestation in your life. Your entire experience is filled with your creative thoughts, which have become tangible. If you don't like situations you find yourself in, change your thinking, and it will bring about a corresponding change in conditions. And then he went boom, he dropped the mic, and he walked off. That's all there is. Change your thinking, change your life. Such is the constant of change. That is what we need to align ourselves with. The fact that everything in the physical world changes, always does, always will, everything. Didn't you wake up in the morning and go, what the heck? There's a freckle there that wasn't there last night when I went to bed. Everything changes. Everything changes. We align with that. We know that it outpictures. Who was it that said? William James said, to change one's life, start immediately, do it flamboyantly, no exceptions. I love that. It gives you freedom to just go out there and change. So we talked about change. What about choice? What about the second one? In the textbook, Ernest Holmes said, we cannot live a choiceless life. Every day, every moment, every second, there is a choice. If it were not so, we would not be individuals. Right? We can't be just these little robots for God, you know? We can't be pre-programmed to just do certain things and not do other things. We have to have free will. We have free will. It is choice. Choice is a constant. We cannot exist without making choices. You chose to get up in the morning. You chose to go to bed last night. I mean, you just think about all the choices you made just to even be here. Right? Driving your car, getting up, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, you know, what clothes am I going to wear, this or that. Everything is a choice. Even not choosing is a choice, really, right? Even not choosing, which many people think that they do, by the way. You know, oh, I'll just let God decide. Oh, yeah. You know, even not choosing, abdicating a choice is a choice, right? We're choosing not to make a decision about something and allowing a situation to develop as it will. Or giving over your power to somebody else, some situation or some event, letting it to decide for you. That, in effect, is a decision also. We're allowing somebody else to decide for us, or some condition or some event. We're abdicating the decision. That in itself is a decision. So we must make a choice. We're always at choice. We are always making choices. And even if we cannot change the situation, we can change our mind about our situation. That is also a choice, right? I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job. How many times have you gone to work in a career you've had over the years? I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, and you're busy getting ready to go to it. Some people get up every morning and that is their mantra, right? I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job. So what happens when that affirmation changes? What happens when the affirmation changes and maybe nothing in the physical world changes? The job is still the same job, but the mind that had the thought about hating the job decides to find something joyful, decides to find something useful, decides to find something creative, decides to be of service in the job that they're doing. And then the affirmation changes. And then instead of I hate my job, 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 this worker is saying, I'm of service, I'm valuable, I contribute to the health of the whole. I'm transforming this situation by my mere presence in it. I make a difference. And what a powerful affirmation that is. The job hasn't changed. The job hasn't changed. The mind of the individual has changed, and that changes everything. It changes everything. Ernest Holmes in Freedom from Stress. Don't you love that title? I love that one. Anyway, Freedom from Stress, he said this: if we find ourselves in an unpleasant situation, we must stop fighting it and antagonizing it. We must begin to praise and bless it. This is the principle of non-resistance, but it does not mean acquiescence. He made sure he said that. It means non-antagonistic non-resistance, the recognition of the condition, but there is an inner refuting of it because it has been established an affirmation of its opposite. So we're not in denial, we're not sticking our heads in the sand. We're observing the condition, knowing it is simply a condition, and knowing a greater truth about it. He goes on to say, if we are in an undesirable environment and surrounded by hostile individuals, if we heal ourselves, the result will take one of two courses. There will be a change in conditions, or a healing of the other's thought about us, or we'll be placed in new surroundings. In other words, the logical thought based upon the nature of reality is bound to demonstrate as an actuality. It has to occur, he said. It has to occur. Otherwise, we'd be just hypnotizing ourselves and inducing wishful thinking. So this is the law. This is the law of cause and effect. This is about the choices we make and the changes that then occur in our condition around them. It has to work. So that leads us to principle, really, right? Change, choice, and principles. Principles. What the heck are we talking about? You know, what are we talking about when we talk about principles? But it is the third constant, right? Change is a constant, choice is a constant, principles. And Ernest Holmes again said, eternal unfoldment is the law of our being. But what is it that unfolds? Is it principle or is it individual? And the answer is simple, he said. We all know principles do not change. Principles do not evolve, yet people do. Our evolution consists of constant acquiring of knowledge leading to a more profound understanding of principles. But our understanding of principles do not create them. Principles are immutable, changeless, and eternal. Principles are immutable, changeless, and eternal. So what are we talking about when we talk about principles? Right? What are those immutable things? What are those changeless things? According to Webster's, a principle is a fundamental truth or proposition that serves as the foundation of a belief system. Right? But Ernest Holmes said principles are forever hidden from our eyes. We cannot see them. We cannot see principles, but we see their effect on things in the manifest universe. We see them in the physical world, and we see them work. Gravity is a principle. I don't have to wonder if I take a pen out of, here we go, right here. If I take a pen out of my book and let go of it, I don't have to worry is it going to just hover there this time? No, it's going to fall to the ground. I know it's going to fall to the ground. Every time I do it, it's going to fall to the ground. I can do it 1 billion times. Every single time I do it, it's going to fall to the ground because gravity is a principle. It's just a principle. If I mix, Ernest Holmes did this wonderful thing about color, and he said, if I mix yellow, I'm messing around with this thing. If I mix yellow and red together, I'm going to get orange. If I mix red and yellow together, I'm going to get orange. If you mix yellow and red together, you're going to get orange. And you're going to get orange, and you're going to get orange, and you're going to get... Everybody who mixes red and yellow together are going to get orange. It's a principle. Why does it work? I don't know. Why does orange get created? I don't know. It has something to do with wavelengths of light and all that kind of stuff. But every single time we mix yellow and red together, we're going to get orange. Everybody's going to get orange. It's not orange for me and blue for you. It's always going to be orange, no matter who mixes those two colors. And no matter how many times we mix them, we will always get orange. That is a principle. Doesn't matter who does the mixing. Doesn't matter how many times those two colors get mixed. It will always come out orange. It's a principle. Ernest Holmes said it's no respecter of persons. It just happens the same way every single time. It is infallible and it is impersonal. Doesn't care who's using it. Doesn't care how many times it's used. Same thing with gravity. Right? Same thing with electricity. You plug stuff in and it works. Doesn't matter what you plug it in. You can plug in a toaster. You can plug in a microwave. You can plug in a blender. You can plug in a hair curler or a flat iron. The principle of electricity remains the same. Doesn't matter what you do with it. You can stick your finger in it. Ha! Shocking. It's a principle. It works the same all the time for anybody that works it. Ernest Holmes said if we were to examine the basic principles of the world's religions, we will find the same similarity. Each religion points to one central life, from whose self-existence draws all livingness, and without which none could exist. No matter what religion you look at, what religious philosophy or spiritual philosophy you look at, it's the same thing. There's one. It always goes back to one. There's one life. We're all partaking of it. We did not create these laws and principles, but we discovered them, and we made use of them. The law of thermodynamics. I mean, think about all of these things. We discover and we align with them. Bodies in motion tend to stay in motion. Bodies at rest tend to stay at rest. The law of physics, laws of gravity, laws of temperature, the temperature at which water boils. It's a principle. It's just a principle. And what we've done is we've discovered them all these years. And we align with them and we allow them to work through us. We align with them and we allow them to do the work for us to improve our lives. So spiritual laws are the same thing. We didn't create these spiritual principles. We align with them. We discover them. We use them. We didn't create them, but we use these spiritual principles to enhance and change the conditions in our lives. They are impersonal and they are infallible, and they work the same way each and every time for everyone. They are constants, like choice and like change. Right? The law of cause and effect, the law of karma, the law of compensation, the law of attraction, all of these things that are spiritual laws in the natural world. We didn't make them. We didn't make them up, certainly. We found them, we discovered them, and we align with them, and we allow them to flow through our lives, into our lives, changing conditions around our lives for our self-evolving nature, so that we can live that greater life of spirit on earth. That's how we put together a life. That is how we put together a life. The three constants: change, choice, using of those principles. This is how we put together our life. We align with those principles to use when we choose to make a change. That's just how it goes. Ernest Holmes used to say it like this. He would say, there's a power and presence in the universe that is greater than we are, and we can use it. Same thing. The power and presence in the universe greater than we are, that is the principle. It's greater than we are, absolutely. And we get to use it. We get to choose what to align with so that it outpictures in our life, and that's the change. We pray, we affirm, we vision, we keep putting one foot in front of the other. We manifest change in our lives based on the choices that we make and employing the principles that will outpicture as different circumstances in our lives. That's how we do what we do. And why we do what we do? To live that greater life of spirit. To be that self-actualized spiritual being that we are. And to make a difference in the world. For ourselves and for everyone else. Change choice principles. Powerful, powerful stuff. Use them wisely. Thank you.